What if I told you that Hogwarts still holds untapped secrets from its founders, hidden chambers located deep within the castle that haven't been accessed for centuries? Everyone knows about Salazar Slytherin's infamous Chamber of Secrets. There's a whole book named after it. But have you ever considered that maybe, just maybe, the other founders of Hogwarts had a few secrets of their own? Today we'll be discussing all of that and more as we dive into some of the lost secrets of Hogwarts Castle. Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Hogwarts Castle and the surrounding grounds are filled with many secrets. That much shouldn't surprise you. And many, if not all of these secrets, can be attributed to the school's four founding members: Godric Gryffindor, Salazar Slytherin, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Helga Hufflepuff. Pioneers of magic that put their heads together and created the world's best magic school. Recognizing that they wouldn't be around to protect the school forever, the founders planned for the future by creating the Sorting Hat, a magical artifact capable of sorting students into their respective Hogwarts houses. The enchanted hat would serve not only as a guardian of the founders' values, but also as a symbol of unity, ensuring that the unique qualities of each house would continue to shape the students who passed through Hogwarts doors. And unsurprisingly, there was even a secret nested within the Sorting Hat itself. Sometime just before or sometime during his time at Hogwarts, Godric Gryffindor had commissioned the creation of a silver sword, a sword that would later become known simply as the Sword of Gryffindor. And so when Gryffindor joined the other three founders in enchanting the Sorting Hat, he covertly added an additional bit of magic. Whenever a true Gryffindor was in need of help, they could reach their hand into the hat to withdraw the sword. This was one of Godric Gryffindor's secret contributions to the school, and more importantly, his house. But I certainly don't think it was the only secret contribution, and we'll get back to that in a few minutes. The hat made things much easier for the four founders, and it couldn't have come at a better time, as they were beginning to have a bit of a falling out. The 10th century was a tough time for witches and wizards, as they were subject to all sorts of persecution from muggles in the forms of witch hunts, etc. And so Salazar Slytherin, who vehemently hated muggles for what they had done to his kind, proclaimed that he would never accommodate muggle-born students at his school. The other founders didn't share this belief, and eventually things hit a tipping point, with Slytherin leaving the school altogether. In the end, Gryffindor, along with the other founding members of Hogwarts, decided that enough was enough, and Slytherin left. But before his departure, Slytherin decided to leave a lasting mark on the castle, a secret that would resonate with his beliefs long after he was gone. Deep within the dungeons of Hogwarts, he constructed a hidden chamber known only to himself, a large cavernous chamber carved out below the dungeons in the underbelly of Hogwarts Castle. This chamber, later known as the Chamber of Secrets, housed a terrifying creature, a basilisk, that could be controlled by any of his descendants who possessed the rare gift of Parseltongue. Slytherin's intention was clear, that one day his heir would unleash the basilisk to purge Hogwarts of those he believed didn't belong. And apparently having one secret chamber built within the castle of Hogwarts was not enough for Salazar Slytherin, as he also built himself a secret scriptorium. This scriptorium was a small room located on the same level as Hogwarts dungeons. Made to look like part of the castle wall, the study was hidden behind a door concealed within plain sight, and behind that were layers of security, including multiple doors that required advanced and dark magic. Inside of the room, there are rumored to have been a number of Slytherin's personal items, including his spellbook and diary. None of the other founders were aware of the scriptorium's existence, with the only witches and wizards who knew about it being his direct descendants. And although a student or two may have accidentally come across it over the centuries, there's no documented proof that anyone made it past all of the protective layers to get inside until the late 1800s. Now my question is this: are we truly meant to believe that Slytherin was the only one to build a secret chamber? The four founders of Hogwarts were thought to possess levels of power completely incomparable to modern-day witches and wizards. They also had quite different values and perspectives. Therefore, I suspect that in an effort to maintain their individuality, each founder would have constructed their own secret chamber to get away from it all and spend some time alone. I suspect that the chambers may have also provided them with a place to practice their own unique brands of magic. But that leaves one very important question. Where are they? Let's start with Rowena Ravenclaw. In the years leading to the formation of the school, Rowena Ravenclaw had already become renowned as one of the most skilled witches of her era. Her mastery of charms, which she would later use to create her famous diadem, made her quite a formidable magic user, and her insatiable thirst for knowledge pushed her to study magic at a pace nearly no other wizard or witch could compete with. When choosing students, Rowena had a very specific set of qualities that she looked for. Unlike Godric Gryffindor, who sought courage, or Slytherin, who went after purebloods, Ravenclaw wanted only the brightest students. The entire wizarding world would come to know just how selective Ravenclaw was, and graduates from her house would show off their affiliation with great honor. And I suspect that Ravenclaw's secret contribution to the school is also perhaps one of the most complex contributions, taking the form of the Room of Requirement. The Room of Requirement is one of the most intriguing and magical spaces within Hogwarts, a hidden room that appears only when a person is in great need of it and is adaptable to serve almost any purpose the seeker requires. This room is not fixed in form or function. It is highly responsive to the desires and intentions of those who seek it, making it a versatile and mysterious part of the castle's magical architecture. Ravenclaw was renowned for her intelligence and deep belief in the importance of knowledge, creativity, and learning, and in this way the Room of Requirement perfectly aligned with these values, as it appears only to those in genuine need, providing a space tailored to the seeker's specific requirements, whether for study, refuge, practice, or concealment. Furthermore, the Room of Requirement's very nature as a secret room that appears only when truly needed speaks to Ravenclaw's mysterious and thoughtful personality. She may have intended for her contribution to be a subtle but powerful part of Hogwarts, only accessible to those who demonstrated the kind of curiosity and intelligence she valued. It's also worth mentioning that Rowena Ravenclaw is credited with designing the ever-shifting staircases of Hogwarts. The Room of Requirement, hidden and moving much like the staircases, could have been a deliberate extension of this design philosophy, further embedding her intellectual legacy within the very architecture of the school. I also suspect that only Rowena, a charms master, would have had the magical skill set necessary to create such a room. Each founder had their own unique talents, and charms happened to be Rowena's area of expertise. If you still aren't convinced, it's also worth considering that the room became the resting place for her diadem. The room is also mentioned by Ravenclaw's own daughter, Helena, who was one of the few characters that would have been alive during the founding and would have known about her mother's private room. Godric Gryffindor. Godric Gryffindor was one of the most powerful duelists of his era, with both a wand and a sword. And during early discussions, it must have been apparent that Gryffindor, just as his reputation as one of the greatest sword duelists of the time seemed to indicate, hoped to find the bravest and most determined students. And in creating his house, he hoped to establish a legacy that would last for centuries to come, one centered around the warrior's ideals that he himself embodied when he withdrew his ruby-inlaid sword in combat. Bearing this in mind, I've got a few theories for what his secret room could have been. In the present day, the headmaster's office is a large circular room that serves as the private study for whomever is the current head of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The office is located at the top of a tower, accessible via the Gargoyle Corridor. The entrance to the headmaster's office is concealed behind a gargoyle, which makes it more suitable for a private study than a public office. The fact that it requires a password for entry adds to its secrecy, making it less practical for an office meant to be accessible to students and/or parents. An office intended for such public use likely wouldn't rely on a password, as this could easily be shared among students. Therefore, I suspect that the office was either designed to change passwords frequently after non-faculty visits, or it wasn't originally meant to be the headmaster's office at all. With a Gryffindor knocker, I suspect that the headmaster's office was originally Gryffindor's private office, later repurposed by subsequent generations into the headmaster's office due to its grandeur. I believe that the Gryffindor is a deliberate nod to Gryffindor, whose name and house emblem both prominently feature the lion, a member of the Griffin family in mythology, and that the presence of this knocker suggests a connection to Gryffindor himself, implying that the space was originally his before being converted into the headmaster's office. Tie all of this in with the fact that the headmaster's office is the permanent home of the Sorting Hat, which originally belonged to Gryffindor himself, and I think we've got ourselves a plausible theory. Helga Hufflepuff. Last but not least, we've got Helga Hufflepuff, a witch whose greatest attribute was her fair and kind heart. Helga was particularly unique in that she didn't hold any bias against her students, never allowing any of her preconceived notions of a young boy or girl to get in the way of how a formal magical education could transform their future. And in that way, Helga touched the lives of thousands of wizards who would have otherwise been rejected by the other houses. But her egalitarian philosophy toward life and commitment to others didn't stop at the doors of Hogwarts, which is why her secret project involved cultivating and safeguarding the Forbidden Forest, a testament to her profound love for herbology, nature, and the earth. Recognizing the potential to transform a portion of the Hogwarts grounds into a thriving magical forest, Helga sought to create a haven where rare plants could flourish and magical creatures could thrive in their natural habitat. This project would reflect her deep-seated values of nurturing and compassion. Helga was deeply connected to the natural world, and her dedication to protecting it drove her to create a sanctuary that would remain hidden and untouched by the general populace. On the other hand, it's possible that Helga may have been the only founder to avoid creating any sort of hidden or secret space. This would fall in line with her more egalitarian outlook, believing that instead of focusing on creating a secret space, her attention should instead be placed on something that could be accessible to and enjoyed by all. Therefore, it's possible that Helga's not-so-secret contribution to the school was perhaps the school's greatest meeting place, the Great Hall. What do you guys think? Did any of the founders create secret rooms? And do my proposed locations line up with these characters? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams, and forget to live